Part 64. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 631. Lingshang's lips were trembling when he spoke. One can imagine how excited he is. The clergy levels of the major temples are similar. In the shrine of Aragami, from the lowest level priests to high priests, high priests. At present, the rank 9 Desolate God Shrine can only be granted the title of Grand Priest at the highest. Even if Fangfan is a virtual wild god, he has no right to control it. Of course, if it's just a virtual title, it doesn't matter. However, the authority of each level of priesthood is different. When you reach the high-level priesthood, such as the High Priest, you can even fight directly with the power of faith. Of course, the strength of the battle depends on the strength of Aragami. And the real version of the god of wildness is Fangfan himself. After the establishment of the 9th rank Power Human Emperor Temple, in addition to the establishment of the 9th rank temple, a 9th rank spirit vessel was also born. Fangfan can clearly feel that the surrounding aura is several times stronger than before. Cultivating here, the chances of promotion are obviously greater. My lord, a total of 3,700 9th grade spirit crystals have been harvested. Galen delivered the harvested spiritual crystals. These are the sky blue energy crystals that automatically descended after the divine calamity. Most of them are used to nurture the 9th grade spiritual veins and 9th grade temples. To be able to stay so much, even if it is not bad. This kind of 9th grade spirit crystal can slowly improve the cultivation base in the hand. If you hold it for a long time, it is not difficult to promote the cultivation base. Well, I see. Fangfan temporarily put the spirit crystal into the Sumi space, and now he has more important things to do. The gift of the arrogant god, consume a certain amount of faith to reward one or more believers and improve their cultivation. This skill has a 1-month cooldown. This magical skill, you can consider using it. It would be good if you could improve your strength a little bit. If I recruit all 100,000 believers and use them all, wouldn't I be able to advance to all levels? Fangfan narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, according to this model, it is not impossible. System, can this magical skill be used to make all 100,000 believers advance to one level? After all, for the first time to control, it is inevitable that many things do not understand. Ding. It is the first time that the gift of the God of Gods is used without consuming the power of faith. The magic skills that come with the 9-rank temple are all 9-rank magical skills. The power of faith that can be bestowed each time is limited. If you cast it on one person, you will be able to instill it all on him. If you cast it on 10 people, each person can only be allocated 1/10 of the power of faith. And according to the level of believers, the rate at which these powers of faith can be converted into their own experience points is also different. 1 to 3 levels of pan-believers can only convert 10%. 4 to 6 shallow believers can convert 30%. 7 to 9 devout believers can convert 80%. 10th level mad believers can convert 80%. 102 conversions. The system babbled a lot, and Fangfan summed it up as follows. This magical skill is equivalent to rewarding believers with a certain amount of experience in their hands. For example, holding 10,000 experience points in his hand and giving it to a pan-believer, he gets 10,000 experience points, but because his believer level is too low, he is only a pan-believer and can only get 10% of the experience points, so in the end what he really absorbed was only 1,000 experience points. Therefore, it is still very necessary to find high-level believers for gifts. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 632. For another example, 10,000 experience points are distributed to 10 pan-believers, and each person can only get 1,000 experience points, and the last 10% rate is discounted. In the end, each person's digested experience points may only be 100 points. Now, it's really not worth it? Aragami, the top floor of the temple. Fang Fan looked at the two figures in front of him, lost in thought. Zhang Ao, a first-level shallow believer. Zhou Kaishan, have no faith. Why is your belief level so low? Fang Fan looked at the two in front of him speechlessly. Originally, Fang Fan was going to use them both. Let the two of them be the first batch of beneficiaries to cast the Aragami's gift magical skill for the first time. To put it bluntly, Fang Fan wanted to reward them in this way. Needless to say, Zhou Kaishan, this guy screamed the boss all day long, and was fighting for his life during the battle. The end of the world has come for so long, and those playful breaths have been washed away. At this moment, he is an unparalleled fierce general. Every time you fight, you must be at the forefront, and the other party is also extremely loyal. These Fang Fans have seen them all, and they have been called the boss many times, and Fang Fan has gradually recognized this little horseboy. As for Zhang Ao, he has won several defending battles in the northern capital city. If it wasn't for his overall planning, the Yan Kingdom would suffer even more losses. His ability to command the army, as well as his arrogance, are very admired by Fang Fan. Thousands of troops are easy to get and one general is hard to find. He deserves to be rewarded for his meritorious deeds. Just pulling the two people over to take a look, Zhang Ao is a first-level Pan believer. If he is forced to use the blessing of the wild god magical skill, most of the energy will be wasted in the end, and only 10% can be transformed. As for Zhou Kaishan, he is not even a first-level believer. Palace Master, I don't want to make myself stronger by worshipping the gods in this way, it will only make myself more empty. If it wasn't for the fact that this desolate god was brought back by the temple master, I'm afraid I'm not even a first-level believer. Zhang Ao chuckled lightly, he is a realist, this kind of illusory thing is not his favorite. Boss. I think City Lord Zhang Ao is right. I'm an atheist. Even if there are some so-called gods, I still don't like them. If gods are so good, why does the end of the world break out? The so-called god of the end is the culprit of all this. These are not good things. And what kind of desolate god? It's ugly, I haven't even heard of the name. I don't know where the third-rate little god came from, but he dares to let me worship. Wait until I see him. See if I don't hammer him to death. Zhou Kaishan stood proudly, very arrogant. Are you sure you want to hammer this wild god to death? Fang Fan's mouth twitched, this guy is very daring. Of course, when I see him. I want to learn from him. But people are gods, and the dragon can't see the head but not the tail, I can't see it either. Zhou Kaishan shrugged, looking very indifferent. He was addicted to talking, and he was so happy. Anyway, the so-called arrogant god couldn't hear it. Then you can learn from me now. Come on. Fulfill your wishes. Fang Fan looked at Zhou Kaishan, the corner of his mouth raised slightly, dare to beat your boss? Palace Master, you, what do you mean? Zhang Ao, who was beside him, was suddenly stunned. He seemed to hear something different in Fang Fan's tone. He had a bold idea in his mind, but it seemed unlikely. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 633. I am the God of Wildness. Fang Fan's words are amazing. Zhang Ao and Zhou Kaishan widened their eyes in astonishment at the same time, with a look of shock on their faces. Haha, boss, can we talk about something real? This joke, pff haha, it's so funny. If you become a god, then what am I? Don't I have a true God, boss? I wipe, that's too majestic. Zhou Kaishan covered his stomach and leaned forward and backward with a smile. Fang Fan glanced at this guy, and sooner or later cleaned up. Although Zhang Ao also showed extreme disbelief in his eyes, it was obvious that he was more rational than Zhou Kaishan. Because in his eyes, Fang Fan is not a person who likes to rant. Lord. Zhang Ao wanted to say something, but Fang Fan stopped him directly. What I said to you today is related to the safety of me and the entire human emperor's palace. You can hear it? If you reveal a word, don't blame me, Fang Fan, for turning his face and not recognizing anyone. After this matter is over, we will all make a blood oath here, and we must keep this secret. I treat you as brothers, don't call me stupid. Fang Fan said with a serious face. Zhou Kaishan also stopped laughing at this moment, because he could feel the change in the surrounding atmosphere. It's just that there is still some unbelievable feeling in my heart. He couldn't believe it was all true. I always feel like what's going on? Lord, thanks to the trust of the Lord, Zhang Ao vows to keep the secret. Zhang Ao took a breath and nodded solemnly. Fang Fan nodded secretly, he still believed very much in Zhang Ao. It's this guy Zhou Kaishan, what a worrying. Boss, although I'm a bit stupid, I know what to say and what not to say. Looking back, even my own father would never want to reveal a word in my mouth. Zhou Kai said loudly. Hearing the promise of the two, Fang Fan felt relieved. The gods are not willing to come to the temple to accept our offerings. We have been abandoned by the gods. We are all abandoned children of the gods. Fang Fan's words were astonishing. Zhang Ao and Zhou Kaishan gasped, who knew there was such a doorway. This is a little too scary, isn't it? Damn gods. I've seen them unhappy for a long time. Boss. If I say, we don't need to seek their blessings at all. What if they are gods? We are self-reliant. If we are strong, we may not be able to become gods in the future. Zhou Kaishan is full of confidence. Zhang Ao frowned deeply, obviously thinking more. What does the Lord mean? This desolate temple is a fake. But I have seen a lot of miracles before. Zhang Ao frowned and seemed a little confused. As you can see, because there is no God willing to come, I became a god in a fit of anger. I ascended to the throne of the wild god. Except for the fact that I don't have the powerful combat power of the true God, the other gods are the same as the true God. Including receiving the power of faith, and using the power of faith to improve your cultivation base. I have a Origami God's gift magical skill, which can be used once a month to use the power of faith to instantly boost your realm. The higher the level of your believers, the more benefits you can get. I said so much, can you understand what I mean? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 634. Fang Fan explained bitterly, it's too difficult. The key point is that Zhou Kaishan and these two goods listened with relish, and he didn't know when he asked 3 questions. The Lord's meaning is, let's believe in the God of the wild. Because to believe in the God of the God is to believe in the God. The God is the God of the God. The God of the God is the God of the God. The Lord said so, then my heart will be more peaceful. Zhang Ao's expression brightened, he was really repelled by the belief in the gods. After all, what he pursued was his own way of strength, and he had a faint sense of alienation from the so-called gods. But after learning that the god of wildness is Fang Fan, the excitement in his heart surged instantly. Ding. 10th level Mad Believer at 1. Ding. 10th level Mad Believer at 1. There were 2 system sounds coming from his ears at the same time, and Fang Fan was suddenly confused. Immediately clicked on the attribute panels of the 2 Mad Believers, and each saw the names of Zhang Ao and Zhou Kaishan. Boss. You said it earlier. You said that the arrogant god was yours, and I was so utterly obsessed with the arrogant god. Hey, boss, don't take the bastard words I told you just now, just treat me as a fart. Zhou Kaishan showed a pleasing smile. Fang Fan can't be angry with this guy at this moment. It's too late for Fang Fan to be happy to get two 10th level Mad Believers. According to the system, the 10th level Mad Believer can absorb 120% of the energy released by Aragama's gift. This time, using the magical skill blessing of the arrogant god on them is a real big profit. Okay. Now that you have raised your faith level to the 10th level Mad Believer level, you can now use the magical skill blessing of the arrogant on you, and prepare yourself. Fang Fan snorted and looked at Zhou Kaishan and Zhang Ao. Zhou Kaishan is now a 9-star awakened person, and Zhang Ao is even lower, he has just been promoted to the 7-star awakened realm. I don't know what level this magical skill Aragama's gift can raise them. Fang Fan thought to himself, and immediately began to cast spells. The gift of the wild god. Fang Fan silently began to chant the incantation, and then white lights began to appear around him. The wisps of faith began to frantically transform into pure energy and entered the bodies of Zhang Ao and Zhou Kaishan. Fang Fan silently observed the changes between the two. I saw that the white light directly wrapped them, and then moved little by little, digested, and then disappeared into the invisible. Then a white light emerged again. It goes on and on. Zhou Kaishan, who was originally the realm of the 9-star awakened, began to advance wildly. 10 stars, little thunder tribulation arrives suddenly. The thunder tribulation in the sky has been conceived countless times, but it just can't come down. Then it collapsed on its own. Fang Fan couldn't help but tighten his gaze. This virtual temple is very resistant to beating. It is also very card-like, even Xiaoli Ig dare not land. Zhou Kaishan's realm is still soaring wildly. After Xiaoli Ig collapsed, it was even more out of control. 1-star King Realm, 2-star King Realm, 3-star King Realm, 4 stars. Fang Fan couldn't help but feel jealous. I worked so hard and went through countless hardships to get promoted to the 3-star King level. You guys just got on the roller coaster and got promoted? No reason. Zhou Kaishan's cultivation level was soaring wildly, and Zhang Ao's promotion speed was not at all dissatisfied. Soaring straight up. The two seem to be competing at the same progress, and they don't want to fall behind at all. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 635. The entire promotion process lasted about an hour before it ended. 7-star King class. Boss. I've been promoted to the 7-star King level. Boss. I love you. I, Zhou Kaishan, love you to death in this life. From the 9-star awakened, to the 7-star King realm. A full 8 realms. Fang Fan opened his mouth, he had to admit that he was really sour. Why can't this Aragama's gift be used against him? He also wants to try this kind of thrill of soaring without working hard. Lord, the subordinates are useless, just promoted to the 6-star King realm. Zhang Ao's regretful voice came. Fang Fan looked up at the top of the temple and pouted silently. Look, are you talking about people? Promoted to the 6-star King realm, this is a useless sign. Already very good. You were originally only a 7-star awakened realm, but now you can upgrade to the 6-star King realm, which is beyond my expectations. Fang Fan said with a sigh, Zhang Ao has been promoted to 9 realms. This Aragama's gift can only be used once a month, but the effect is too strong. This still divides the energy between 2 people. If all the energy is accumulated on one person, it may be promoted. Fang Fan took a breath. The mystery of this temple is really hard to predict. No wonder that fellow Lingshang is willing to make the entire spiritual clan a vassal group of the human clan, and also join the 9th rank power human emperor's palace. It's no wonder that the thousands of small forces that are not in the mainstream are fighting to break their heads in order to be promoted to the 9th rank forces. Being promoted to the 9th rank power is equivalent to entering the system. It is all linked to the gods, and those who leave a name, are naturally extraordinary. Fang Fan thought to himself that he was very satisfied with the current result. Although it is said that the 9th rank power human sovereign hall has been established, Fang Fan knows exactly what is going on in his family. There is at least one 9-star king level master in the other 9 rank forces. He is here. The highest level is the 7-star king level Xiaojin Long Ao Guang and the 7-star king level Zhou Kaishan. This guy has just been promoted. Between the two, it's not the same thing. Kaishan, I conferred upon you the position of guardian of the imperial palace. You will follow me in the future and fight with me. Fang Fan said to Zhou Kaishan. Zhou Kaishan was a 9-star awakened before, and it was not very useful to carry it. But now Zhou Kaishan, who has been promoted to the 7-star king realm, is already qualified to be Fang Fan's right-hand man. As for the city lord Zhang Ao, you are the deputy hall lord of the emperor's palace. When I'm not in the palace of the emperor, you are responsible for the daily management and guarding. Fang Fan said to the two of them that he originally chose to promote Zhang Ao and Zhou Kaishan and planned to reuse them. Protection? I've become a Dharma protector? Thank you, boss. What kind of job is this Dharma protector? Zhou Kaishan had a look of joy on his face, touched the back of his head, and smiled. The emperor's palace is currently prepared, 1 hall master, 3 deputy hall masters, and 8 guardians. The function of the guardian of the law is to protect the safety of the imperial palace. Expel foreign humiliation. What? Don't want to do it? Fang Fan glanced at Zhou Kaishan and said teasingly. Of course I am willing to do it. He. I understand, this protector is second only to the hall master and the deputy hall master, and it is just right for me. Zhou Kaishan looked excited. He will be considered a high-level figure in the future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 636. Thank you Lord for your trust. Let me take up such an important position. Zhang Ao was moved, all this was given by the Lord. Without the Lord, Zhang Ao would have been a cup of bones. Now not only has the cultivation base been promoted to the terrifying 6-star king realm, and he was also appointed as the deputy head of the palace of the emperor. With this kind of status, the entire human emperor palace and even the entire human race can rank in the top 3. Zhang Ao is not stupid, he is secretly grateful to Fang Fan in his heart. He decided that even if he sacrificed his life, he would never fail the Lord. A Lord, a life Lord. This promise has always been in his heart and has never changed. In the desolate God temple, Fang Fan and the other 3 looked at each other and smiled. In the dialogue box of the World Babel list, it is already boiling. The first place in the personal combat power list of the great god Fang Fan has been copied. Hey, terrifying. It's terrifying. What kind of character is this Zhou Kaishan? How can he be able to directly rise to the 7-star king realm? Maid, I have been staring at the personal power list before, and I have never seen this name appear. It's like it suddenly appeared. My CAO, God Fang Fan was pushed to the 3rd place. Another new star is rising. Zhang Ao? 6-star king level. What the hell happened today? Is the water retrograde or something? How can it be so scary? Unbelievable. My god, is this really true? Is the legendary era of the great god Fang Fan coming to an end? No. No. This Zhang Ao, a very familiar name, I seem to have heard it somewhere. This is the lord of Baidu city. Now he has become a general under the command of the great god Fang Fan. Hey, it turns out to be someone under the hands of the great god Fang Fan, then it seems, not surprising. Isn't it normal for the people of great god Fang Fan to be so rude? Tisk, that seems to be the truth. Then who knows Zhou Kaishan, who is number 1 in the personal combat power list, who is the big guy to come out and talk about it? Please tell me. This is an emerging bigwig. Zhou Kaishan, if I remember correctly, the son of Zhou Ba, the head of the Zhou family in Zhongcheng, is called Zhou Kaishan. This person is said to be very close to the great god Fang Fan. Zhou Kaishan often calls the great god Fang Fan the boss in public. Hey, so, are they under the command of the great god Fang Fan? Oh my god. It's terrifying. God Fang Fan is going to rise against the sky. The human race should be prosperous. The Chinese realm should be prosperous. Hey, it is said that the great god Fang Fan has now established a personal palace, and also established a temple. Could it be, this is the reward of the true god? Huh, if you say that, it seems to make sense. I also want to join the palace of the emperor and become a member of the subordinate of the great god Fang Fan. I wonder if there is any way for you brothers and Taiwan. Haha, if I had a way to go in by myself, how could I have waited until now? The world Tongtian ranking has not been so lively for a long time. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly, his thoughts moved slightly, and he sighed slightly. Personal combat power list, since there is such a list, he seems to have been slaughtering the list. Now that it has come down suddenly, to be honest, I am really not used to it. Personal battle power list. First place, Zhou Kaishan, 7-star king. Second place, Zhang Ao, 6-star king class. Third place, Fang Fan, 3-star king. Fourth place, Kailan, a 1-star king. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 637. Now the first and second places have been replaced by new people. But, Fang Fan looked quite happy. Human race must have vitality. Must be fully up. Just as Fang Fan was immersed in deep cultivation while holding the spirit crystal, Galen hurried over. My lord, the second wave of the winged people's attack is here. Fang Fan had withdrawn to Zhongcheng from the M realm before, in order to build the palace of the emperor. And sent people to monitor the changes of the M-level plane passage all the time. Unexpectedly, it didn't take long for the winged people to find out and take action. If it was said before, Fang Fan may still be afraid of the winged people, but at this moment, after the establishment of the palace of the emperor, Fang Fan's confidence has skyrocketed. Not only because of the increased combat power of a 7-star king like Zhou Kaishan, but also because he has more trump cards in his hand. Gather the army and go with me. This is the first battle after the establishment of the human emperor's palace. Just use the blood of the winged people to worship the rise of the human emperor's palace. Fang Fan stood up abruptly, his eyes twinkling. M border, Huajin city. At this moment, countless winged people have gathered here. Have you found Zhan's body? A rather old winged man asked with a gloomy look on his face, his eyes swept around these winged human race scouts in front of him. The clan, the patriarch, haven't been found yet, only a trace of young Master Zhan's wings. The body of young Master Zhan may have been, has been, torn up by those abominable human race. The captain of the winged human race scout team, a winged human of the 4-star king realm, was trembling at the moment, for fear that the person in front of him would suddenly attack him. The fear and anxiety in his heart were very real. Tear up. Torn up by the Terran. Haha. If it wasn't for your incompetence, how could my genre be killed by the Terran? You guys are all accomplices. Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the winged clan, wiped the sword in his hands with both hands, lowered his head silently under the horrified eyes of everyone, licked the sharp edge with his tongue, and waited until a trace of blood appeared on the edge before he chose to give up. Good knife. A good knife should be sacrificed with tongue blood. Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the winged clan, let out an extraordinarily frantic cry, and then his eyes again focused on the captain of the winged clan scout in front of him. Patriarch. The subordinate is guilty. The subordinate is guilty. Please forgive me this time. The subordinate will do my best. Click. The sound of the skull breaking sounded, and everything turned into nothingness. Since you know you're guilty, you can die. Order the entire winged human race. Kill me all the creatures on this plane. I mean, all. I'm going to make them pay for their actions. Yi Lingtian soared into the sky, and his voice was extremely loud. Wing people. Among these unpopular forces, they are still very powerful. They have arrogant capital. Yi Lingtian. You are so brave. A shocking shout came suddenly, Yi Lingtian's eyes narrowed, someone dared to call him by his name. Just asshole. The plane of the human race is the site of my emperor's palace, and it is also what you can move if you want to. Fang Fan flew over in a Jiaolong vehicle with a pretentious expression on his face. The two dragons in front of this dragon car are not real dragons, but a special flying tool that needs to be activated by magic crystals or divine crystals. This is also the reward after the establishment of the 9th rank power palace. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 638. 9 rank Jiaolong car? Are you a 9th rank force? Which 9th rank force do you come from? Is there any misunderstanding? The relationship between my winged people and the 9th rank force Kinglan sect is still very good. It's better not to hurt each other and be harmonious. When Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the Yiren clan, saw the 9th grade Jiaolong car, his expression changed abruptly. He has only seen this kind of car at the side of the 9th rank power Kinglan sect master. Could it be that the one in front of him is a 9th rank power master? Even if it is not the master of the 9th rank power, I am afraid that the status is extraordinary. Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the Yiren clan, thought to himself that although he was arrogant and uninhibited, he was not without measure. At this moment, the thoughts in my mind began to ferment rapidly. He thought frantically, he had never offended any major forces recently. Haha, didn't the Lord of the Palace just say that? The Lord of the Palace is from the palace of the Emperor. Get out of here and spare your life. Fang Fan let out a roar, his morale surged. The situation that should be at this moment must be displayed. Human Emperor's Palace. Yi Lingtian frowned deeply, this force, he had never heard of it, could it be the emerging 9th rank force? Yes. It sure is. How could he imagine the vastness of all races? So there will be a 9th rank force, which is normal. He doesn't know, he can only say that he is ignorant. Your Excellency is the Hall Master of the Palace of the Emperor of the Human Emperor? Meet the Hall Master, Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the lower wing human race. I didn't mean to offend you just now, please forgive me. It's just that my grandson was murdered here by those ignorant human races, so I came here to find the murderer. Could the Lord of the Palace give you some convenience? My winged people must be grateful to Dade. Dare not to forget the great kindness of the Palace Lord. Yi Lingtian bowed and saluted cautiously. In front of a 9th rank power master, he must uphold such a posture. Even if the Lord of the 9th rank power appears to be very young, this is still the case. The attitude you should have, you must show it. Don't you understand what I said? The plane of the human race is the territory covered by my emperor's palace. If you want to slaughter the human race here, you are fighting against my human emperor's palace. You winged people, do you have the courage? Fang Fan snorted, showing murderous intent, looking like a very strong labor force. Ling Shang, the patriarch of the spiritual clan on the side, was stunned. The Hall Master is so arrogant. This is Yi Lingtian, the patriarch of the winged people. The powerful existence of the dignified 8-star king realm was actually so fooled? Boss, what nonsense are you talking to him? Just go up and hammer him to death. Don't worry about it. Zhou Kaishan on the side looked a little impatient, and shouted with a reckless expression. He just broke through to the 7-star king level, and his hands are itchy. I want to take advantage of this opportunity to have a good fight. Fang Fan turned his head and glared at Zhou Kaishan, implying that he should stop talking nonsense. In particular, if there is a certainty of victory, do you need to say more? Labor and capital went to hammer in the morning. It's not that there is no certainty of victory, so I want to take a slanted sword. If it can be successful, it is good, even if it fails, there is nothing to lose. There is not only one winged human clan leader, Yi Lingtian, but also many winged human masters. If it was just Yi Lingtian in the 8-star king realm, Fang Fan would have gone straight to it. But beside him, there are many 6-star or even 7-star king level winged guards. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 639. Can be noisy, try to do as little as possible. Although Fang Fan still has a high-level king-level potential explosion card in his hand, he can only upgrade a 7-star king-level combat power to 1 level of combat power within 10 minutes. Maybe in 10 minutes, but what about 10 minutes later? Everything will turn into nothingness. Yi Lingtian consciously wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, then glanced at where Fang Fan was, with a pleasing smile. Mad, it's so hard. Are you going to hammer me to death? 9th rank forces can't be so arrogant. My lord, our winged people did not want to offend you. As long as you let us catch the human murderer who killed my grandson, our winged people will immediately evacuate this area. We promise not to come to harass you again. Yi Lingtian took a breath, his eyes twinkling brightly. Although it was said that he offended a 9th rank power, he really didn't have the courage. But for the sake of his grandson, Yi Lingtian felt that it was necessary to give it a try. Yi Zhan is one of his bloodline descendants with the most talent for cultivation. At a young age, he is already in the 6-star king realm. With a little training, he may not be able to advance to the 9-star king realm in the future. At that time, wouldn't their winged people also be promoted to 9th rank forces? But now, the most talented grandson is dead. The strongest inheritance of the winged people is broken. For Yi Lingtian, the murderer must be caught. Kill it all. For this reason, he did not hesitate to offend a 9th rank power. Moreover, the so-called 9th rank power man Emperor's Palace Master in front of him seems to be a little strange. If it is really that kind of invincible powerhouse, shouldn't it be time to start? Why is it still indifferent to this day? Could it be that, this guy in front of him is not a 9th rank power human Emperor Hall Master at all, but he has a better relationship with this human Emperor Hall Master, and has lent this dragon car? The more Yi Lingtian thought about it, the more likely he felt. At least logically, it makes sense. Your Excellency, it's better to get out of the way. I think Your Excellency is quite young, should it be only the junior of the Hall Master of the Emperor's Palace. I have no intention of blaming you. But don't be too deceiving. Yi Lingtian walked forward silently, the ruthless look on his face was even worse. It's time like this, what to do and what not to do, and it's time to make up your mind. Fang Fan's expression froze, could it be exposed? But looking at this momentum, it seems that there are still opportunities to take advantage of. Snapped. Fang Fan gritted his teeth, suddenly strode forward, and slapped Yi Lingtian on the face. The scene fell silent in an instant. Yi Lingtian felt the hot feeling coming from his mouth, and was suddenly a little stunned. He was beaten? And still slap in the face? He couldn't remember how long no one dared to do this to him. Even if it is the master of the 9th rank power, seeing him as a powerhouse of the 8th rank king realm, he still has to give some face. In front of this so-called 9th rank power human Emperor Hall Master, whose identity has not yet been confirmed, how dare he be arrogant in front of him? Yi Lingtian took a few breaths fiercely, and there was a flash of light in his eyes. Just because you dare to bark in front of this Hall Master? Ouch again, this Hall is the main boss of your dog. Fang Fan is also biting his head at this moment and pretending to force a high-level King Realm enchantment card in his hand is always ready. If something is not good, throw it out immediately, it is important to save your life. This is also no way to make sure nothing goes wrong. Can only fool in the end. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 640. Bastard. Go to hell. Yi Lingtian groaned suddenly, a pair of white wings suddenly violently incited, and immediately rushed towards Fang Fan's direction. He decided to kill this guy who dared to slap him in public. And after so many trials, he, the old fox, thinks he has everything under control. It was such a good opportunity just now. If this guy really had the combat power of the 9-star King realm, he would have killed me in one move. But he didn't. Instead, he just slapped me lightly. According to the normal situation, this guy should be a hot chicken who is strong in the outside world. It's just to fool people with the name of the 9th rank force. There must be a lot of treasures on a dude like this. After taking this sum, run away immediately. Yi Lingtian took a deep breath, his evil turned to courage, and it was not impossible to take risks for the sake of profit. Swoosh swish. Facing the attack of the 8-star king level combat power, Fang Fan naturally couldn't resist. Use the advanced King Realm enchantment card. Fang Fan secretly said, and a 10M*10M invisible shield suddenly appeared around it, which could resist attacks below the 10-star king level for 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes to live. Fang Fan originally wanted to use that slap to deter Yi Lingtian, but he did not expect to anger this guy instead. This old fox, it really isn't that easy to deal with. The majesty of the wild god. Fang Fan snorted again and used a magical technique. The majesty of the arrogant god, consume a certain amount of faith to make oneself possess the breath and majesty of the true god. It lasts for 10 minutes and the cooler is 24 hours. While Fang Fan was using his magical skills, a strong divine power suddenly emerged from his body. In the eyes of others, it is more mysterious than me. Boundless. Unapproachable, yet terrifying. Boom. At this moment, Yi Lingtian's attack has arrived. But what made him unbelievable was that his attack did not respond to the young man in front of him. What is even more terrifying is that an extremely dangerous aura suddenly emerged from this young man. This feeling is even more terrifying than the powerful true kings he encountered in the 9-star king realm or even the 10-star king realm. Yi Lingtian's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He had a hunch that this powerful being in front of him only needed to move his fingers, and he might be completely reimbursed. And he doesn't want to die just yet. Are you trying to provoke me? I'm going to blow your bones to ashes, and I'm going to slaughter your clan. I want to remove the winged people from the heavens and thousands of clans. Fang Fan pretended to wave his arms, and strands of virtual divine power gathered around him. Thunder is rolling around, and you can take advantage of it. It seems to be very powerful, but in fact Fang Fan is still the same Fang Fan. If he really wants to make a move, he is still the 3-star king level Zhan Wu scum. Even if you use another Aragama's Fury magical skill, you can only increase the combat power of 3 levels to the 6-star king level. And the winged patriarchy linked Yen in front of him is an 8-star king. Lord Palace Master. I was wrong. Please. Let me go. Don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I am willing to submit to your command. Conquer the world for you. I am still useful. Please don't destroy my clan. They are the best warriors. They can open up territory for you. Just when Fang Fan was about to lose it, the winged patriarchy linked Yen suddenly knelt down in front of Fang Fan.